can't believe he did this dumb shit. I cannot believe he did this dumb shit. I can't believe he did this dumb shit. This man got me so mad, I'm out here sounding like Dr. Umar. I can't believe he did this dumb shit. Not Dr. Umar, Shannon Sharpe. I'm so mad I didn't skip the intro to my own damn podcast. You're listening to Ratchet and Respectable. Blah, 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 blah. All are welcome. Like, what were you thinking? His own admission. What were you thinking? First thing I saw when I finally turned on my phone this morning, I sleep in. I don't get up until 1 o'clock when I'm over here at Cape Town because I'm still jet lagged. 23 people done flown across the Atlantic to hang out with me and see some world, to show them some Cape Town. They could be over here with anybody else, but they came over to hang out with me. The trip starts tomorrow. Our opening dinner is tomorrow night. It is 1:19 in the South African morning. I have just finished this week's podcast. My actual episode is already up. I'm up at 1:19. I have been working on this podcast all day long, and I am up at this indecent hour. I mean, it's only 1:19. It's not like it's 4 a.m, but still, the point is, I am up ranting about Shannon Sharpe. And that is what this is. It is a rant because I am frustrated at this level of stupidity. First thing I saw when I got up this morning, I didn't even know a lawsuit had been filed against him. I saw his response to the lawsuit that had been filed against him. Actually, the first thing I saw, somebody on Threads was talking about, damn, Shannon Sharpe, stay with the sex scandal. And I was like, we still talk about Michelle? That was months ago. I mean, it was a little embarrassing. It was audio of a man having sex. He said that his phone had gone live. He doesn't know how it happened. Plenty of people who go live all the time. It's like 55 steps to go live. Like, you can't accidentally go live. Like, it's a fail-safe built into the system. In order for you to go live, it has to be intentional. Like, he did that shit on purpose. Which I do actually think he did that shit on purpose. I thought it was stupid at the time. So I was like, hey, you had that big Cat Williams interview at the beginning of the year. Like, so maybe you don't do Cat Williams numbers every episode, but you were also like getting heavy hitters on the show. Like, you were a force in new media. You don't need these antics to maintain your popularity. But all things considered, it was a blip. It was stupid. You heard him doing this thing. You didn't see him doing this thing. Okay, whatever. A little weird, but, sure. No harm, no foul. Unless you're Michelle and didn't know you were being recorded, but we don't really know who she is. But I still would feel a way if you could hear me. Like, people who know me would know it's me. Not the point. The point is, I thought folks were talking about the sex scandal from before. This is a new sex scandal. What? You're 56 fucking years old. Why are you involved in so many sex scandals? You had a sex scandal last year in September. We only in April. You having another sex scandal 7 months later? What you got going on in your life? Because this ain't no regular 56-year-old shit. Calm down. I ain't saying be washed. I ain't saying be still. I'm not saying be inside. I'm saying at a certain age, at a certain level of professional success, at a certain time in your life where you decide you want to be about some real shit, you got to stop allowing strays into your life. You might be the stray. You got to stop doing stray shit. You got to fix yourself. You got to focus. You got to have goals. You got to respect yourself. You got to do better than dumb shit. That's the shit that got me mad, son. I'm telling you that I'm mad without telling you why I'm mad. Pulling up Shannon Sharpe's page because I want to read you his response. I want to share this information with you in the way that I saw it so you can understand exactly like how fucking crazy it all is. Shannon Sharpe has children, by the way. His youngest child, I believe, is 31. The young woman, by his admission that he was fucking around with, the OnlyFans model, some girl he met when she was 19, she worked out at his gym. Sorry, that woman could almost be your grandchild. What are you doing? This is what I saw posted on Shannon Sharpe's page. It's a statement from Lanny J. Davis. This is Shannon Sharpe's attorney. The first line of this statement is, quote, I want you to put a dog collar around my neck and choke me with it while you're fucking me. Sir. We listen and we don't judge. That was like 9 a.m. my time. That's a lot for me. At 9 a.m. 2 a.m., that's another conversation. That's not the point. The point is, she said, I know you missed this big, juicy ass $25,000 for each cheek. Hey, it's still tricking if you got it. This before I do the young girl. She was my kid. The young girl was 19 years old. I think she just turned 20. I'm still reading from the statement. It says this lawsuit filed by Gabriela Zuniga. Apparently, she's a white passing Latina and orchestrated by her attorney, Tony Busby. That's the same one that Jay-Z just dragged. He's like, the man is a lying liar who lies. Jay-Z sued him. He was like, you trying to come after me? You're an extortionist. You're a liar. He said it with bass in his voice. You see that video of Letitia James going off on Trump? And she was like, I learned from the best. Patting her chest. I went to Howard University. I ain't even go to Howard. I yelled HU and just solidarity. Like, ugh. Jay-Z was fired up. He ruined Tony Busby's name. Tony Busby also has a bunch of lawsuits against Diddy. I think a bunch of them were dropped because the judge was like, this is shenanigans and foolery. Like, none of this shit holds up. Actually, let me look that up real quick. I want to make sure I get that detail right. I'm reading this on Business Insider. When did this come out? March 20th. Attorney Tony Busby has withdrawn from over a dozen lawsuits he filed against Sean Combs. Busby was not permitted to practice in the New York federal court where he filed the suit. Now, sir, I'm not a lawyer. I know you got to be licensed in the state that you're practicing in. Sir. This man's name is affiliated with foolishness and deception. That's about the only thing Shannon Sharpe has going for him in this case. He's saying a young girl is trying to extort him. She asking that man for 50 million American USD dollars and dineros. And I was like, girl, what you got on him? Because you asking for Cassie money. What evidence you got? Apparently she got some, because some has already come out. We ain't get there yet. Still reading the statement. In her effort to extract a large financial settlement, the woman in question presented Mr. Sharpe with a secretly recorded video of a consensual sexual encounter. He's still getting recorded? I mean, it's in secret, so he said he ain't know. But I was like, sir, you're not, taking any extra precautions after that mishap with Michelle? Apparently not. The statement continues, we believe the video has been heavily edited and taken entirely out of context, crafted to falsely portray a consensual act as non-consensual. They're saying the woman has refused to provide a copy of the full unedited version of the recording to Mr. Sharpe's legal team. It says, to set the record straight, we are releasing several explicit text messages sent to Mr. Sharpe that clearly indicate the nature of their relationship was consensual and sexual in nature, and in many cases initiated by her with specific and graphic requests. Contrary to the allegations she makes in her lawsuit, consensual sex continued until January 2nd, 2025, the day after she asked for $25,000 per cheat, as quoted above. He says there are other examples of texts from the woman. For example, only if you put that baby gravy in me, then I can do whatever I want to me. Is that a typo in there? Then you can do whatever you want to me, then I can do whatever I want to me. When can you not do whatever I'm overthinking this. She says, I want to put my tongue in your asshole and then marry you. I just want to be clear. We listen and we don't judge. I don't have a problem with the little kink. I don't have a problem with people talking that talk. Here's where it gets weird. For me, it didn't get weird for him. If he was having this conversation, even with the woman who was 35 and up, I'd be like, well, everybody grown in this situation. I still think 35 is a little young for 56, but at least you're dealing with two legitimately grown people. 20? 19? Come on, bruh. Come on. She texted him, that's my daddy. No judgment. That's my daddy. Fuck. I want you to put a big black baby in me. One more. You better crave it because you're going to be stuck with it for life after you put a big black baby in me. Nigga. And I do mean nigga. I think I actually mean it with the hard ER. Sir. You out here letting some young white girl talk to you like this? You out here being her big black butt mandingo fantasy? That's what you into? That's how you like to be degraded, sir? You can't just go for the regular shit, light fill. You got to bring in race play and racism. The biggest critics of Shannon Sharpe's show, the complaint that he always gets, they're like, like this big black mushmouth type motherfucker. Like that's what they say. Can't ask follow-up questions. Can't think quick. Just basic. That's what they say. Be calling a man a big dumb nigga, black brute nigga. And in your private life, that's what you out here being? Sir. By the timeline given by his own attorney, the beginning of this year, the woman said 25,000 for each butt cheek. He turned off because the woman asked him for money. I said, what, you thought she was fucking you for free? Sir, you're 56 years old. What interest would a 19-year-old woman have in you other than your money? You have absolutely nothing else to offer her. She needs guidance. She has a father. She needs guidance. She could find somebody 25, 27, 30. Sir, you're 56 with 2 hip replacements. You thought you was banging that girl out like she ain't never been banged before? Better than somebody in their 20s? Sir, all this filthy talk, I want to fuck you, daddy, all that other shit. Like, you thought she was interested in anything other than your bank account. Really? I'd like to say you can't be that stupid, but I actually think he is. And that's scary. Still reading from the statement, it says these messages are just a sampling of a broader pattern of graphic sexual communications initiated by the woman. The evidence paints a clear picture. This was a consensual adult relationship. There's only one adult present. We talking about a teenager and a 56-year-old man. Where's the other adult in the room? Barely legal. Barely. The evidence paints a clear picture. This is a consensual adult, quote and unquote adult. I can't say it straight out. I got to put quotes around that. Adult relationship that included role playing, fine, sexual language, fine, and fantasy scenarios. Fantasy scenarios of this nigga being a big black buck. Oh, good Lord. Explicitly requested by the woman. You know you can say no, right? That comes up in a lawsuit. Put a pin in that. The edited tape that the woman secretly taped and showed to Mr. Sharpe during her blackmail attempt tries to falsely portray, as a result of this editing and out of context from prior text messages, that the sexual activity was not consensual. Mr. Sharpe now believes her secret taping was all part of a planned setup as part of her blackmail scheme, as distorted by her edited tape, a copy of which she refused to make available to Mr. Sharpe or his counsel. There's a lot of repetition in this thing. Like, edit, people, edit. This is important. Mr. Sharpe categorically denied all allegations of coercion and misconduct, especially the gross lie of rape, and will not submit to what he sees as an egregious attempt at blackmail. He stands firmly by the truth and is prepared now. It doesn't say now here. I'm adding the now. To fight these false claims vigorously in court. He looks forward to vindication through due process and a judgment based on the facts and the law. Oh, due process. Are we still practicing that in America? I'm not sure. So no for immigrants, but still yes for Black Americans? Is that where we are with that? I didn't watch the news today. Shannon Sharpe. This has been ongoing. This didn't just drop today. This woman had contacted Shannon Sharpe, as alluded to in the statement, to say, like, I have this tape and I have these text messages and I'm going to tell people, this about you. And he offered her 10 million American USD dollars and dineros. She said no. She wants 50 million. He offered you 10 million cash. He tried to cut the check. You know how I always say when like stuff gets out that we really shouldn't know about? And I was like, well, I should never know about this. If you had cut the check, we wouldn't be talking about this. He actually did try to cut the check. Now I'm confused though. And she said no, and she's going after a higher settlement. What does she have on you? My thinking on this originally was she went and got this quack lawyer who was recently discredited highly by Jay-Z and in the New York legal system, right? He seems to be the attorney that people go to when other attorneys won't take their case or other attorneys have taken it and turned it down, and then you go running to him. Like a so-called ambulance chaser, if you will, right? But he offered 10 and they didn't take it. If you're trying to extort somebody and you don't have real evidence, you take the 10 mil, yeah? I don't know about this one. I heard an audio tape. Shannon Sharpe and the woman are having a phone conversation and he threatens to choke her out. Let me see if I can pull that up. Shannon Sharpe, choke. What's with all this choking lately? Well, Jonathan Majors are trying to strangle folks. I'm going to drag his ass every single time an opportunity presents itself. Reading this on People, it says Shannon Sharpe apparently heard saying, "I'll choke the shit out of you," in clip released by rape accuser. The NFL Hall of Famer denies allegations that he raped a woman, calling the claims a shakedown in a recent video. We'll talk about the video in a second. He's sitting up in here in like somebody kid's brother's plaid jacket with his hands folded. I think he was trying to go for like a good deacon preacher look or something. And I was like, you missed the mark, bro. You missed the mark. That's not the point. That's not the point. That's a petty observation. I'm being petty. Let's see. We're reading about the recording. I listened to it. It sounds more inflammatory to read than it does to listen to. Because like when you read it, you think it's somebody's being like, I choked the shit out of you. He was real calm about it. And not even like serial killer calm. Like it was just sort of like just a matter of fact. Like I choked the shit out of you. Say that shit again. I'll choke the shit out of you. Which kind of a wild thing to say to somebody. This is me. And also I'm not a 19-year-old. Just because of the tone, I think tone matters. I do. And I'm not trying to excuse him in any way whatsoever. You know my stance, especially talking about men and weird sexual shit. I vouch for me. I don't vouch for nobody else. I'd like to think that he didn't do this shit, but I don't know this man. I watch him when he has good interviews. I watched him interview Bobby Brown the other day, which was surprisingly sane. Bobby Brown is a grown-ass man. He's like, Bobby, what do you like to do in your free time? He's like, I like to cook. He's like, I got a lot of kids. I got to feed my kids. I'm like, oh, well, all right. He's like, what else do you like to do? I like to hang out with my wife. What else do you like to do? I like to season my food. Bobby Brown was not getting caught up in no bullshit. He came and acted like the grown-ass man that he is grown into. It took him some time. It took him some time. Better late than never. He apparently got to that place before Shannon Sharpe did. Bobby was wild. Bobby is calm now because he's a grown-ass man. That's what you're supposed to be. A little wild in the youth, very calm in the older age. Talking about 50-something like it's older. But goddamn, it can't be like this. It can't be running around with 19-year-olds. I mean, it can be. And this is the shit that comes with it. Still reading on People. A woman whom the attorneys identified as the plaintiff suing Sharpe under the name Jane Doe tells Sharpe not to, quote, manipulate her. A voice resembling Sharpe says in the recording obtained by People, if you say that word one more time, I'm going to fucking choke the shit out of you when I see you. After a pause, the woman says she doesn't want to be choked. He says, yes, you do. I don't think you have a choice. Let me play it for you so you can judge it for yourself.
Like, I don't know. Anything I say, you're just gonna like get mad at and you're just gonna hang up on me. So I feel like
I'm not gonna hang up on you. It is what it is.
what does that even mean?
Nothing yet. You want to be a dick to me now, so
I don't manipulate me.
I don't know, God mercy. If you say that word one more time, I'm gonna fucking choke the shit out of you when I see you.
Well, I don't.
You know what?
Well, I don't want to be choked.
Yes, you do. I don't think you have a choice in the matter.
She sounds like a damn child. Because she's 19. Jesus. Nigga, what are you doing? What are you doing with this baby? You ain't got no business with this girl. This is a child. Listen to the way she speaks. She's a child. She sounds immature for 1920. Niggas is nasty. Tony Busby, the lawyer, again, he says of the clip he and his client released, he says the contents are certainly not sexual. They are not playful. They are indeed disturbing, aggressive, and dangerous. And again, that's me as a grown-ass woman not dealing with the power and balance of a 19-year-old and a 56-year-old. It says, instead of owning up to his actions, Sharpe has chosen to mislead his lawyers and the public and double down, this time by doxing Jane Doe and attempting to humiliate her into silence, this woman who is 30 years his junior. In an April 22nd press conference, Sharpe's attorney, I haven't seen this press conference yet, it says that Sharpe's threat to choke the accuser was made in the heat of the moment and that he had no intention to be violent with her. Shannon Sharpe released a video, and he's sitting in this blue plaid. Remember Chris Brown's bow tie? We was trying to apologize for beating Rihanna. He on that weird, like, big blue bow tie, and everybody was like, "What the fuck is with that bow tie?" He has on this jacket, blue gray. It's not the same color as Chris Brown's bow tie, but it made me think of the bow tie, clearly. He says this is a shakedown. He says he's going to defend himself. He says Tony Busby, the shiesty lawyer, targets Black men. He mentions that he also targeted Jay-Z. He says he believes that Busby is going to release a 30-second sex tape that's been edited featuring Shannon Sharpe and the woman. Shannon, in the previous statement that I read to you, he was recorded unknowingly. And he says the tape will play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. I'm a guess some of that "put the big black baby inside me" it might be on this tape, or he's saying or doing some other things that are bringing up that Mandingo big black brute stereotype. Can't believe you got caught up in this shit. Shannon Sharpe is calling for Tony Busby to release the entire video. He says it's about 10 minutes. 10 minutes of activity of him and the woman. He says release the whole video so people can see the whole act in context for themselves. Shannon Sharpe says the sex that is on this video took place during a consensual encounter. He says that the woman invited him for the sex and it was a shakedown. He didn't know at the time. Look, I said something similar to this on Threads, and a bunch of Black men came for my throat and was like, "You're blaming the victim." Who is the victim? The 56-year-old man who was fucking a 19-year-old? We call him a victim now? Is he really a victim here? I'm not sure. Let's wait till we get to the lawsuit so I'm fully informed. You and I are going to read the lawsuit together. I haven't read it yet. At this time, before reading the lawsuit, I'm going to take you through my thoughts in real time. At this time, I actually believe it's a shakedown, only because the lawyer is so shady. I told you before, like, he made that offer for 10 mil and then she rejected it. And now it's become public. This is very Diddy Cassie. Diddy would have had you believe, like, oh, Cassie's full of shit, blah, blah, blah. He also offered Cassie a number and she was like, go fuck yourself. I want the number that I asked for. Did he offer her 10 million too? And she ended up getting 30 instead? Do I remember that correctly? Actually, it was never made known. It was a settlement of how much he paid Cassie. I think it was in the ballpark of 30 million. That's what was rumored at the time. Shannon Sharpe, he says that this is a shakedown. He says his family and friends and fans, know him better than this. I was like, do we? Do we know you better than us? Because the truth kind of is, you say sketchy shit sometimes. And you've been called out on it a bunch of times. Like, Monique called you out when she was on the show. She was like, stop dating them young girls. Like, you need somebody your own age. And, he just laughed and whatnot. I was watching a clip from, it was Shannon Sharpe, Ocho, and Funny Marco. Remember I told you I went to get my hair locked? And my loctician had me watching all the young people shows on YouTube. One of them was Funny Marco. So Funny Marco is on, not Club Shay Shay, the other one. And he tells Shannon Sharpe that he looks like Miss Netta, which, was it a lie? Shannon Sharpe got upset about it. But I was like, have you seen you and you seen her? Because twinsies, it's like smoke and stack. Y'all look like the same person. Okay, so he says this to Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe gets upset. And as his defense of not looking like Miss Netta, so he said, them young ones still open up for me or something like that. And it was just, this is before the lawsuit came out. And I heard it and it was just so crass. And I was like, what kind of like 56-year-old man is talking about young ones opening up for him? Are you still bragging on your dick at 56? Really? Is your dick management that poor? It is. Because he's a whole 56 years old thinking that a 19-year-old girl wanted something from him other than money. He still got abs. Shannon Sharpe does work out. He still got body. But there's only so many workouts you could do. A 56-year-old man cannot compete in fucking with a 20-something-year-old man. He might have a better stroke game, but does he have more energy? Is a 19-year-old woman going to be more attracted to a man in his 50s than she is to somebody her own age? Well, so you went and got this young girl, but this young girl who's also on OnlyFans. And again, I don't judge OnlyFans. Honest work for honest pay. Sex work is work. Work is honest and it pays the bills. But like, ma'am is a hustler. You got hustled by a 19-year-old? Is you stupid or is you dumb? Which one? Both? Let me see. Is there anything else he says on this video we need to go over? Because we still need to get into this lawsuit. Work ain't honest, but it pays the bills. I'm pulling this thing up right now. Got to go back to Shannon Sharpe's page. He's sitting up here talking with his hands folded like a deacon. I think he was going for a deacon look with this video. It's giving like modern pastor. I think that's what he's going for. He got a chain on. This blazer is tight as fuck. Remember when what's that boy? Remember the bachelor, the first black male bachelor, Emmanuel Acho? Is that his name? Achu? No, because I remember I said it like Achu when somebody was like, not like a sneeze. Like, remember he had on that tight ass suit when he was doing the interviews? He wasn't the bachelor, he was the host. People be catching strays on this show. Oh my God. Shannon says the only reason he didn't put the tape out is he doesn't have it. He says Tony knows the truth. He's trying to manipulate the media. All right, let's get into this lawsuit. I'm pulling it up. Oh, this was filed 8th Judicial District Court of the State of Nevada. Jane Doe, who Shannon Sharpe went ahead and named after the lawsuit was filed. Is that legal? I know he did it. I'm asking, is it legal? Versus Shannon Sharpe, an individual defendant. The introduction. A woman can say yes to consensual sexual relations with a man 99 times, but when she says no, even once, that no means no. True. Defendant Shannon Sharpe, a man who is accustomed to getting what he wants, completely fails to understand this basic concept. After many months of manipulating and controlling plaintiff, a woman more than 30 years younger than he, and repeatedly threatening to brutally choke and violently slap her, Sharpe refused to accept the answer no and raped plaintiff despite her sobbing and repeated screams of no. Defendant Shannon Sharpe is a 56-year-old former NFL superstar. He's in the Hall of Fame, right? He claims to be one of the most successful sports media personalities in the country. I wouldn't argue with that. Plaintiff is a young woman in her early 20s. In 2023, plaintiff was working out at a gym in L.A. when Sharpe approached her for the first time. Previously, Doe had noticed Sharpe watching her during her workouts. At this time, she was just 19 years old. At the time, she didn't know who he was, only that he was another older man ogling her at the gym. Sounds like creep shit. Doe could tell Sharpe was much older than her. Duh, because he's almost grandpa age. She found him physically intimidating. Ooh, white women going white. White Latina, but white nonetheless. Eventually, he introduced himself. At his determined insistence, she gave him her number. She got this man out here sounding desperate as fuck. Over the next couple weeks, Sharpe incessantly pursued plaintiff. He constantly approached her at the gym creek, and attempted to contact her frequently with phone calls and text messages asking to meet up, unwilling to take no for an answer. Eventually, plaintiff gave in and agreed to meet with Sharpe outside of the gym. However, before doing so, Sharpe demanded that Doe sign a non-disclosure agreement, or NDA, something plaintiff found a bit concerning. She wondered why Sharpe was so insistent on her signing an NDA. She refused. Despite his repeated efforts to get her to sign, she refused time and again. Eventually, he dropped the issue and invited her to his house. Nigga, you out here worth millions. Apparently, he has a deal on the table, or a deal that was expected to be on the table for his podcast, 100 million American USD dollars and dineros in this fucking economy. You out here fucking with young girls with no fucking NDA, nigga? I don't know how many millions he currently has. He should have tens of millions. He got several streams of income. He make good money for sure. Just off YouTube alone, he make good money. Plus, he has other endorsements. Plus, he got the ESPN show. Nigga, you gonna be out here paying for pussy, just pay for it. People say this all the time. Men get so upset for it. What so many men want is to fuck you and go do what they want to do and not be bothered with your shit and your shenanigans. Nigga, that's called sex workers. Go get you a consistent, work out a rate, tell her the types of things that you like to do. See if she's willing, because you still consent. Just because it's sex work don't mean they down for whatever. Find a consenting sex worker. You bust the nut, you cut the check. Everybody goes on their separate ways. The sex worker will sign the NDA. That's part of the job. But you out here fucking with a 19-year-old who refuses to sign an NDA. You gambling with your whole shit, sir. The whole monopoly board. You got all these fucking millions, all this fucking fame, all this perceived power, and seemingly no good sense, and seemingly also no self-esteem. Out here playing Mandingo. I can't believe he did that shit. I mean, I can. I don't put nothing past nobody. I vouch for me and nobody else. I know about what my limits are. Sometimes I learn new things about myself. This is still page 1. Everything I just read to you is page 1. We got 2 lines to go. It says, what followed was the beginning of a rocky consensual relationship that lasted nearly 2 years. The relationship was very unequal. Duh. Sharpe is more than 30 years older and is considerably wealthier, is physically much larger, and exponentially stronger. Ooh, they playing up that big black man shit hard. Sharpe is famous and has power. Plaintiff and Sharpe saw each other on his terms and on his schedule as often as 4 times a week. Over time, Plaintiff began to see Sharpe's true nature. She found him to be dishonest about his whereabouts. He would lie about seeing other women while insisting to her that she and he were exclusive. Nigga, I know you fucking lying. You thought she was exclusive with the 19-year-old? He often manipulated her, at times being sweet and loving to get what he wanted, and at other times being angry and aggressive to achieve his goals. She discovered over time that Sharpe was extremely emotional, I can see that, and possessed an uncontrollable temper. It wouldn't surprise me. He displayed the characteristics of a true narcissist. I mean, that's essentially what she's describing. He wielded his power, his influence, and his celebrity to control Plaintiff. This is beginning to sound more and more like Diddy and Cassie. I'm picking back up. Wielded his power, his influence, and his celebrity to control Plaintiff and get exactly what he wanted whenever he wanted it, all the while jealously guarding what he considered his for himself. By October 2024, Sharpe's behavior had grown progressively worse. This is after Michelle? Beyond anything Plaintiff had experienced with him prior. At this point, he was insistent upon recording their sexual activities. This is after Michelle? I'm sorry, excuse me? After you already got caught out there on fucking Instagram Live in September, you were still recording your sex? Sir. He got issues. It's all that he has going on for himself, and he's risking it so recklessly this way? Allegedly. Ooh. Sharpe was also sharing the videos with without her permission or knowledge. Sharpe would repeatedly tell Doe that he wanted her to do things that would, quote, make no other man want her. By this point, Sharpe was no longer able to credibly maintain that the relationship was exclusive. He had, at this point, accidentally or purposely to advance his career, went live on Instagram while having sex with another woman. Sharpe flew into fits of anger when Plaintiff noted his infidelity to their relationship, or called him out about his extraneous activities. What had once been manipulation, control, and intimidation now became something far more dangerous and sinister. Sharpe even figured out how to get into Doe's apartment complex without her permission. Sharpe made it clear that what Doe wanted was of no moment, that Sharpe would get what he wanted when he wanted it. In October 2024, Shannon Sharpe violently sexually assaulted and anally raped Plaintiff 2 different times in Las Vegas, blatantly ignoring her request for him to stop. He did it again in January. Plaintiff left Nevada to temporarily escape defendant Shannon Sharpe. She now seeks justice through this action and other means. Plaintiff seeks compensatory and punitive damages in excess of $50 million. I know mofos say crazy numbers to negotiate. We're on page 3. Oh, they put pictures of him in this lawsuit. Oh, to emphasize the bigness and blackness of the whole thing. They do this every fucking time. Factual allegations related to all claims. Shannon Sharpe, former NFL superstar, well-known sports media personality, 14-season career in the NFL, considered by some to be one of the greatest tight ends of all time. He is a 3-time Super Bowl champion, recently inducted to the NFL Hall of Fame. He transitioned into sports broadcasting, several years at CBS, went to Fox, there for a decade. Was it? I swear I heard nothing about this man until he quit his job. That was it, Fox, when he was with Skip. Literally, that's the first time he registered on my radar. And then I started watching the podcast. Before Cat Williams, but still. let's see, 2023, he joined ESPN. In addition to First Take, he hosts a podcast. We've talked about that. Sharpe claims he made as much as $6 million from one episode of his podcast. That would be Cat Williams. And is alleged to be signing a multi-million-dollar deal with the Volume Media Group. His legacy extends beyond the field and media, and in one glaring area, it is not good. Ooh, Sharpe has a documented history of abusing and mistreating women. Huh? As an example, he is currently a defendant in a lawsuit before the Supreme Court of New York, facing claims from a woman of intentional infliction of emotional distress, among other allegations. Many of the factual allegations in the New York case are eerily similar to his actions toward plaintiff here. According to the New York lawsuit, Sharpe forcibly subdued the plaintiff in that case, forcing her to her knees and subjecting her to non-consensual oral sex, despite her repeated protests. Why have I never heard about this? When she resisted, he persisted. He would not take no for an answer. According to the New York lawsuit, the plaintiff therein feared for her safety, just as plaintiff fears for her safety now. As a writer, this is extremely well written. The New York lawsuit further alleges that Sharpe escalated to non-consensual vaginal penetration, all while telling her that he would make it so no other man would want her. These words were apparently not a one-time thing. Plaintiff herein too has heard Sharpe say those exact words to her. Oh, that's why she didn't take the 10 mil. Oh, he got a problem. Just as someone who sits around and reads court cases all day, this is ungood. I'm not saying that in my usual, like, weird ass way. I'm just like, yo, like, this is earlier in the podcast when, we were talking about stuff that he said, stuff that she said, the statements, the tight ass jacket he has on. This is ungood. Shit. September 2024, Sharpe live streamed himself, quote unquote, on accident, having sex with a woman. Upon information and belief, what we think had happened was he did so on purpose to seek media exposure and to attract social media views and attention. Sharpe claims it was an accident. However, discreetly recording sex without his partner's knowledge is something he is known to do. He did so with the plaintiff herein. Plaintiff discovered that Sharpe had been secretly recording their sexual encounters without her consent. When she confronted him, he summarily dismissed her concerns, claiming that the videos were for his own personal use. That, too, was a lie. Upon information and belief, i.e., what had happened was Sharpe, on multiple occasions, shared the recording with his friends and associates. If this goes to court, they're going to put Ocho on the stand, mark my words. At one point, he even forced plaintiff to have sex with him while FaceTiming one of his childhood friends. Nigga, that's what you got this young girl doing? Whenever plaintiff would get up the courage to object to Sharpe's outrageous conduct, which was not often, he would aggressively and angrily, quote, put her back in her place. Shannon Sharpe isn't just a sports icon. He's something far worse. He is a flawed, narcissistic individual who has spent years using his fame, power, and influence to manipulate, control, subjugate, and violate women. With this suit, plaintiff intends to put an end to his egregious conduct. Y'all, I'm only on page 5. We ain't even through page 5. Sharpe met plaintiff at the Los Angeles gym. He would deliberately watch her in a way to make sure she knew he was watching her. One day she turned around. She found Sharpe standing inches behind her. He said that he had noticed her at the gym and wondered why she had not introduced herself. Nigga, please, whack ass. Plaintiff at the time had just turned 20 years old. She was caught off guard and face to face with a 54-year-old man she had never met. Plaintiff did not know at the time who Shannon Sharpe was. She did not know what to say or how to feel about his advances. She's 19. They're going to play that up hard, as they should. During their first conversation, Sharpe proposed a challenge, a competition to see who could, quote, lean out faster. The prize? If plaintiff won, he would, quote, buy her fake tits. Ew, nigga. Ew. Plaintiff was stunned. The implication that she needed or wanted such a thing was wildly inappropriate. Hearing it from a stranger more than 30 years her senior made it even more disturbing. Throughout their subsequent encounters at the gym, Sharpe made sure plaintiff understood who he was, a celebrity and TV personality. Over the following weeks, Sharpe made himself unavoidable. He was at the gym when she was. He constantly called and texted, demanding she come to his Beverly Glen mansion. Plaintiff repeatedly declined and made up excuses to make her seem too busy to see him, but he would not stop. Sharpe would not be deterred. Again, great fucking writing here. They're making it almost suspenseful. Eventually, plaintiff gave in. But before she could meet him outside of the gym, pause. One reason that I comment on the writing is because creating story, creating memorable story, creating emotion in the people who are reading makes an impact on the case. Every lawyer will tell you about creating a great story. Actually, everybody who does story for a living will tell you about the power of a great story, lawyers included. Eventually, plaintiff gave in. But before she could meet him outside, he made another demand. She had to sign an NDA. She refused multiple attempts. We talked about that already. The first night plaintiff went to Sharpe's house, the experience was unlike anything she had dealt with before. Disturbing, unsettling, and given his subsequent contact, very illuminating. When she arrived at his house, he opened the door to his Beverly Glen mansion without a word, no greeting, no acknowledgement, no small talk. Without so much as looking at plaintiff, he simply turned away from her after opening the door and walked upstairs. Plaintiff hesitated but followed as she did not know what else to do or where to go. When they reached the bedroom, Sharpe pointed to the bed before disappearing into the bathroom and shutting the door behind him. He still had not said a word. Oh, girl. What the fuck is this? That's why I be fucking with these 19-year-olds. They haven't lived yet. They don't know. Most grown-ass women be like, nigga, what the fuck? Say something, shit. Plaintiff sat on the bed waiting, unsure of what to expect or if she should leave. Roughly 5 minutes later, he finally emerged, but still, he said nothing. Instead, he turned off all the lights and laid down on his bed. Plaintiff, uncomfortable and unsure of what to do, get the fuck out, get out, lay down as well. For roughly 10 minutes, there was nothing but silence. Then, without warning, Sharpe placed his hands on plaintiff's neck from behind, pressed his erect penis against her body, and said his first words of the night. I knew from the time I saw you that I was going to fuck you. Nigga. Doe and Sharpe then engaged in oral sex. As they did so, Doe at some point realized Sharpe was using his phone. He was apparently recording her. Plaintiff could see that he was trying to be discreet, but it was obvious what he was doing. She said nothing, scared to confront him for what he might do or say. When it ended, he rolled over and went to sleep. At some point later during the night, Sharpe woke up, grabbed plaintiff by her vagina, and began having sex with her. The next morning, Sharpe woke up at roughly 4 a.m. to shoot a media segment for sports television. He woke plaintiff as well and told her she needed to leave, but he informed her that she had to be back by 9 p.m. exactly. She went back? What? The following night, plaintiff arrived at Sharpe's house at approximately 9:05 p.m., just 5 minutes past the time he had demanded. The moment he opened the door, plaintiff experienced his rage for the first time. Sharpe immediately launched into a verbal assault. He screamed at plaintiff, berating her for what felt like hours. He accused her of disrespecting him, wasting his time, and warned that if she wanted to be with the Shannon Sharpe, she would have to learn obedience. Nigga. Plaintiff was terrified and feared for her physical safety. Still enraged, Sharpe turned off the lights, grabbed her neck, and just like the night before, began having sexual intercourse with her. This cycle of control, fear, and submission became routine. Yelling at her, controlling her, forcibly grabbing her by the neck when he got upset, saying he was going to, quote, kill her, and asserting dominance became the norm. Over the next year and a half, plaintiff saw Sharpe at his house as often as 4 times a week. Sharpe continued to treat her like an object. He continued to control her, not just physically, but emotionally and psychologically. He demanded complete control over her time and body, expecting her to be at his house on his schedule at his command whenever he called. The verbal abuse never stopped. He would berate and degrade plaintiff, just as he had from the beginning. One time specifically, he was yelling at her while there was a firearm visible in the room. Terrified for her safety, plaintiff tried sharing her location with friends from her iPhone just in case. The moment he realized what she was doing, he grabbed her by the neck and told her, "If you ever do that again, I will fucking kill you." Summer 2024, Sharpe's control turns abusive. The relationship becomes fearful and non-consensual. We're on page 8. We have another 2 pages to go of narrative. As someone who's read most of the major lawsuits that have come out since somewhere around Cassie and Diddy, I've read them on here with you. I'd say easily like 12, 13, 14. This is pretty bad. This is pretty high up there. It says Sharpe's aggression and rage continued to escalate to the point that plaintiff's friends began to fear for her safety. For example, when plaintiff was with friends, they could hear Sharpe yelling at her over the phone and would ask if she was safe and if she was okay. In the summer of 2024, plaintiff and Sharpe each moved to Las Vegas for their own reasons. Sharpe liked to say that plaintiff followed him to Vegas, but that too is a lie. Once in Vegas, Sharpe again insisted that plaintiff sign an NDA. She refused, and again he persisted. But after enough resistance, he let it go and continued seeing her multiple times a week. His behavior did not change. He remained erratic, controlling, and verbally abusive, all while telling plaintiff that he was committed to a sexually exclusive relationship with her. Then, in September 2024, Sharpe humiliated plaintiff. He live-streamed himself having sex with another woman on Instagram for over 1.1 million followers to see. He later made jest of the incident on his podcast, Club Shay Shay, and show Nightcap. But for plaintiff, it was anything but funny. He had repeatedly assured her that they were in an exclusive relationship, albeit unhealthy and abusive. This was a lie that not only hurt her emotionally, it made her fear for her sexual health and the risk of sexually transmitted disease. At that point, plaintiff began to pull away from Sharpe. She stopped answering his phone calls and stopped telling him where she was when he would demand to know. Plaintiff's feeble attempts at freedom and independence further upset Sharpe. This is Diddy's lawsuit all over again. He began flooding her with phone calls, demanding to know where she was. He called relentlessly, multiple times per hour. The harassment became so unbearable, plaintiff frequently began leaving Nevada, determined to cut off communication. It took courage for plaintiff to make this effort. She remained terrified, even though he was thousands of miles away. Sharpe would not accept independence or freedom for plaintiff. In October 2024, just as plaintiff returned from Europe, Sharpe's behavior became more angry, aggressive, and now violent. October 6, 2024. Sharpe sexually assaults and rapes plaintiff and threatens, "I'm going to make it so no man will want you again." Plaintiff was working out at a Nevada gym, following her usual routine. As she worked out, she saw Sharpe aggressively approaching her. She could tell by his look and the way he moved quickly towards her that he was furious for having been ignored. As soon as he got close to her, he told her, "Sit the fuck down or I'm going to kill you." Plaintiff refused. "I don't want to talk to you. You cheated on me." His response was dismissive and controlling as usual. "You don't have a choice." Sharpe demanded that they speak in private. Again, plaintiff told him no. She made it clear she did not want to talk to him, be alone with him, or want him coming to her home. But he did not care. He never took no for an answer. Sharpe forced plaintiff under threat to get in his car and go to her house. Once Sharpe was inside her apartment, plaintiff tried to keep the conversation in the living room, but Sharpe refused. He demanded they go to the bedroom. She said no. He didn't listen, nor did he care. Once inside the bedroom, Sharpe grabbed her from behind and forcibly positioned her to perform oral sex. He held her in place and then forced her to begin performing. He became even angrier and said, "You've disrespected me so much. I'm going to punish this asshole. I'm going to make it so no man will want you again." Plaintiff at this point was crying and sobbing. Tears streamed down her face as Sharpe repositioned her and took her from behind and inserted his penis into her anus. As he forcefully anally raped her, he said, "Turn around and look at me." Sharpe grabbed her head, forcing her to look at him as she sobbed. He said at that point, "Look at this. Look at my arm. I've got chills. That's how good this is." These details? January 2025, Sharpe sexually assaults and rapes plaintiff, ignoring her screams and refusing to wear a condom. On January 2nd, 2025, Sharpe told plaintiff he wanted to see her. Sharpe persisted and reminded plaintiff that he had a combined Christmas and birthday gift to give her. She ultimately allowed him to come over to her apartment. She regrets that decision. Once inside her apartment, Sharpe began undressing. Plaintiff firmly stated multiple times that they would not have sex without protection, demanding that he wear a condom. She knew that in the past he refused to ever use condoms and believed that her demand would stop him from having sex with her. But although he refused to use a condom, he still insisted on sex. She tried to resist him. She screamed. She had already expressed concerns for her safety, knowing that he had been involved with other women, increasing the risk of transmitting a disease. The more she begged, Sharpe became more aggressive and made it clear he would not wear a condom and he was going to have his way with her. Sharpe grabbed her, pulling her around and positioning her to perform oral sex, which lasted for roughly 2 minutes. Then, Sharpe repositioned her body, roughly forced himself inside her. Plaintiff never stopped demanding and begging that he stop or put on a condom. Sharpe ignored her. As soon as he penetrated her, plaintiff screamed and sobbed. Her cries for help did nothing to stop Sharpe. The assault lasted roughly 10 minutes, ending only when Sharpe ejaculated inside her. Plaintiff cried and begged repeatedly for him to stop. Plaintiff left Nevada after the assault. Plaintiff brings these causes of action to this honorable court. Now we're getting into legalese. She is accusing Shannon Sharpe of assault, sexual assault, battery, and sexual battery, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Her prayer for relief on page 12, almost done. She's asking for general damages in the sum in excess of $10 million, special damages in the sum in excess of $10 million, punitive damages in a sum of excess of $20 million, statutory penalties in a sum in excess of $10 million. Also, she wants him to pay attorney's fees and cost of litigation. Such and other further relief the court deems reasonable under the premises. If you want to run me more than what I asked for, y'all can go ahead and do that. That's the end. 13 pages. We went through all 13. This doesn't look good. Tony Busby has an absolutely terrible reputation as an attorney. However, reading this document and also knowing that Shannon Sharpe offered this woman $10 million and she wouldn't take it, again, it's giving Diddy and Cassie. Like, I wonder what evidence she has. He says that she secretly recorded him. She says he secretly recorded her. I want to see what's on this tape that she has. Not because I want to see Shannon Sharpe in a sex tape, but he's pre-warned us that what we're going to see, it just has all sorts of depraved stereotypes and whatnot. What exactly is on there? Like, I was fine with them. I mean, I hate the fact that she's 19. I was fine with, like, the filth that they used to talk to each other. Everything except for, like, the big black baby, because that's just racist and weird. But even if the 19-year-old was, racist and weird, that doesn't give him carte blanche to do the things that she's alleging. I mean, the rape and stuff, full stop, is bad. Full stop. I'm wondering, because she's 19 years old, Z documents, like, everything. This girl might have a treasure trove of documentation. It's the only thing that makes sense about why she wouldn't accept 10 mil. If you're saying somebody's fugazi, they just trying to run you, and they offer you 10 mil, you would just take it. That's a come up. Something's not adding up. I don't like it. I like my more comfortable theory before that this was like, this like savvy 19-year-old girl who was like kind of the dom in this situation and he was her bitch. Who she wanted to have a big black baby with. Look, nigga, he got issues. Just based off that. But I mean, also, like, if anything in this lawsuit, I mean, any line of this shit that he's being accused of is true, like, sir, like, you need therapy and prison. She's only asking for money here, but I was like, you might want to go after a criminal suit if you got any evidence to back this shit up, because, yeah. I went like, if she's sending this shit to him, I may or may not have engaged in filth. We listen and we don't judge. I just know that, like, in the times I may have said some outrageous things. Some outrageous things were said back to me. It wasn't just me saying crazy shit. Like, it was a two-way of crazy. So if he's posting these text messages of the shit she said to him, was he just giving it a thumbs up, like a little red heart? Like was he laughing? Was he, responding with a champagne bottle so it would be like a big, burst onto the screen? Like a fireworks burst, not like a Daniel burst. If you get that reference, you know me really, 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 really well. I don't know. I started off this podcast clowning, like, nigga, what are you doing? And now I'm reading this and I feel very like somber. Like, actually feel ick. I feel gross as fuck. This is ungood. All right. That's the bonus episode for this week. We'll talk. Look, if you don't get an episode on Wednesday, don't say shit. Don't say shit. If this goes up on Wednesday or Thursday, y'all would have had 2 episodes in 1 week like old times. I'm gonna get paid off the second episode, y'all. This is love. Bye.